The Montreal Canadiens have signed newly acquired forward Josh Anderson. We'll discuss the contract coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. Now we have some pretty big news out of Montreal this evening. They've announced that they've come to terms with their newly acquired forward Josh Anderson, who they just acquired here recently from the Columbus Blue Jackets in exchange for Max Domi. Domi's now signed with Columbus, and now Anderson has signed here with the Montreal Canadiens. They've signed him to a 7-year contract at $5.5 million per season. And it also comes with a form of a modified no-trade clause, which does not kick in until the second year of this deal because he's not eligible for that. You have to be at least 7 years in or age 27 before you can get any kind of trade protection in your contract. So at this point, he has one more year away before he's eligible. So that first year of the contract, there's no protection at all. In years 2 through 4, he has a list of 8 teams that he can veto a trade to. So he's an 8-team no list. And then in the final 3 years of the contract, he at that point has a 5-team no-trade list. So it's not a huge amount of teams that he can block trades to, but given the fact he's 26 years old, he's coming off an injury-riddled season. Obviously, he's pretty confident that shoulder's doing much better. We've heard lots of talk about the shoulder and how it's rebounded. But Anderson, that's a lot of money. I mean, as much as I really hope for Montreal's sake that it works out, clearly they really value him. When they did the trade with Columbus to acquire Josh Anderson, they gave up Max Domi and a draft pick. I thought Max Domi would have been the higher value commodity in that trade compared to Anderson. They're both good players, very different kinds of players, mind you. But I would say that, at least in my opinion, I thought Max Domi was probably a little bit more valuable, a little bit more established in the sense that, one, he's a center ice bender, at least for the most part has been and will be in Columbus. So that typically drives a little bit more value as well. If you look at the last 2 seasons, I think it's fair to say that Domi's been a stronger player that way. But in the past, certainly Anderson's had a pretty decent start and scored a decent amount of goals, but certainly struggled last year, largely due to injury, though. It just seems like a lot of money. And so if you compare the Domi contract, he signed 2 years in Columbus at 5.3, and the Habs give Anderson 7 years at 5.5. I mean, based on what they feel he can likely provide, he's 26 years old, so this is 7 years. You add 26 and 7, it gets you to age 33. That part's not too bad. They buy up a bunch of his unrestricted free agent years. He wasn't too far away from being a UFA. Clearly, he could have done a 1-year deal and become a UFA here shortly. So that was certainly an issue, and that's part of the reason why the average annual value is the way it is too, because they are buying up several UFA years. But it just seems like a bit of a risk. But I want to be optimistic here that it could work out if he can become that solid 25-plus goal scorer who can be that big physical winger and stay healthy and play, 82 or very close to 82 games a season for them. It very well could work out just fine. But it does have some risk, whereas the Domi contract to me seems a lot less risky, mostly due to the term. But the risk in that contract is that they're walking him right to being an unrestricted free agent. If if he doesn't want to sign an extension before the end of that deal, they could be at risk to only have him for 2 years and lose him. Whereas in Anderson's case, he's going to be in Montreal a long time. So from an asset management perspective, I liked it better that way, just in the sense that you gave up some good value to get him, and he's going to be with you for 7 years now. So I like that aspect of it. I'm just not sure that the money might be a little bit too much. Normally, too, we'd also be in a situation where we can say, well, if you think about it and you look at what the percentage of the cap they're paying him, and the cap should go up a little bit every year and all that, but we're not going to have that. We're not going to have a cap increase probably for at least 3 seasons. So, I don't know. It's risky, but the Habs are in a good spot with their cap situation. Clearly, they really value this player, but it's more of a situation that's just more of the unknown. You're kind of in love with the idea of what he could be, not what he is, and that's obviously just, a little risky. That's why you get players coming in on entry-level contracts. You think you know what they're going to be as rookies and prospects as they come into the league. Not everybody pans out, and it's just the way she goes, right? I mean, sometimes they turn out to be great, and sometimes they're not, but that's why there's limits on rookie contracts and all that. So we'll see what happens, but Josh Anderson has the potential to be a terrific asset for the Montreal Canadiens. He could be there a long time, be a great physical player for them, and it could work out just great. So we'll see what happens. A couple other quick notes when it comes to signings. Nothing too significant. The Detroit Red Wings did re-sign Adam Ernie, which I was a little bit surprised. I thought that they might let him walk. There's an RFA, wasn't sure he'd get qualified. We also got news that the Chicago Blackhawks are not re-signing Corey Crawford. He will not be back. So he'll be hitting the unrestricted market tomorrow as well. So Corey Crawford's going to have to find a new home if he wants to continue playing in the NHL. We also saw news that the Buffalo Sabres were really close to signing Girgensons to potentially a 3-year deal is what's being reported out there as well. A little surprised on that as well. I thought they might let him go because obviously they need some players. They have so many expiring contracts in Buffalo, but just I'm not sure that's really worked out for the best. I thought they might kind of clean the slate and go for a fresh start on that player, but apparently they seem to want to keep him around. So word is a 3-year deal should be coming shortly here for Girgensons with the Buffalo Sabres, so we'll see. So let me know your thoughts on these contracts, especially the Josh Anderson one. Obviously, that's the main one that's been completed here that we talked about tonight. Let me know, is it too much money? Is it a great deal? Is there risk involved? I want to know your opinions down in the comments, and we'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so you don't miss any future content. And stay tuned for plenty more coming here as we approach the silly season of free agency starting tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.